Right then. Boom, boom, boom. Let's dive into this, Mr. Mike Philbin.
Okay.
So, Mike, thank you for joining me. Look at you. Look at you. So, guys, those of you guys that are joining us live, I can see a few of you are on. As you can tell, Mike is a Man United fan.
Yeah,
He's been
right.
a diehard Man United fan for quite some time. The most painful day of his life was when Man City won that first trophy in the last second of the game. Mike was there in the stand in pain, crying, as you can tell, look behind him. He's a diehard Man City fan, and a great guy. So Mike and I Mike, you first came across us, probably say at the start of this year or late last year, but it wasn't until March of this year that we actually were able to speak on the phone. At that point, you'd cancelled the call a few times. Then I texted you, been like, "Whoa, what's going on? Like, you've cancelled the call a few times. You must be
in denial."
Busy." Yeah, in denial. Do you know what? It's so funny because the guys booking a call sometimes, but then they are too busy to take the call. But it's that same pattern of business that's got them into the shit and having to book the call in the first place. And I just saw you jumping around my calendar. I was watching it, like, what's this guy playing at? What's this guy playing at? So in the end, I just kind of called you forward, if you will. But, fast forward, so from March until now, 7 months, 6-7 months, and you are just a different guy. It's my pleasure to have you on this show where we're really diving into, how he did it, featuring you. If you would have thought at the start of the year you're going to be featured in front of thousands of other men for how you were able to turn things around, I'm not sure you would have even believed that. So,
no, it's good. And do you know what? The best bit about it for me, I was just thinking about this a second ago. The best bit about it is I know this is just it's the start, and there's so much more to come. That's the best bit about it.
It is. Oh, wow. Makes me want to just be there with you. We have such a laugh when we're together, don't we? Right, so let's dive in. So introduce yourself to the men. Tell them a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do, and what caused you to join the Powerful Man in the first place.
So, my name's Mike. I'm from Manchester in the UK. Yeah.
We'll hold that against you.
I was thinking we're going to struggle today with your accent and my accent. No one's going to really know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's great.
From Manchester, I run a family business. Been doing it pretty much since I left school, so long time ago. Taking it over from my dad about 7 years ago, something like that. I've got a wife, 3 kids, and I was involved in the hustle, Tim. I took the business over. We doubled it in 3 or 4 years, and really not knowing how I did it. We just did it. We did it through hustle, working long hours, stress, up here all the time. I was sort of quite calm and relaxed at work, and then when I got home, it was just all the patience went. There was no decompression after work, and it was just straight in the car, drive home, kids coming at your food, all that sort of stuff. It was just it was a crazy few years, looking online for something, coaching, self-development, knowing full well that I needed some help to change myself and to, at that time, to maybe make the business easier, or the business better, because if that was easier, then home life would be better. But obviously now I know that was totally wrong, and there was somebody else I needed to work on rather than the business.
So easy though. An avenue that the men we work with always tend to go down is business coaching. So they think the problem is business, like you said. So they will turn there first. I think you did as well. You hired a business coach, I think, right?
Yeah, we were paying. We paid 1 year. I think we paid £12,000 for the business coach for the year, and then thousands of pounds for other courses. Many.
Wow! But the problems they didn't go away.
Oh no, they just got worse because we got busier.
So you hit the nail on the head. It's so true, though, right? Because the foundation is missing, which is typically the foundation not only within you, but and then we think the way to make it easier is to make more money. So then home life will become easier, but with more money comes more clients, and usually your business ends up producing more chaos than it does cash. Even if you're making loads of money, the chaos is outweighing it. And then, so how did that then affect home life?
Yeah, it wasn't great because I was so stressed. I was never spending time with the kids. You know, my wife Rach was doing pretty much everything. We weren't really connected and spending time together. I had no patience. It's funny, I was just reading one of the exercises we did, like we spoke about a second ago, and I was caught and I was laughing at this thing that I wrote down about the person that I was when I first joined the Powerful Man, and I was called the unhappy hothead.
The unhappy hothead, that's great.
And that's what I was. You know, I was, bouncing around at work all day long, selling the dream to people, and then going home and, being the unhappy hothead. Living that cycle.
So how did you cope with this? So some men will they'll either turn to business and work longer and harder because, when there's problems at home, hey, it's easier for me to just work more because, that's where I get significance. I'm the boss, I'm the man, no one questions me. Or some men will start to just turn to porn or escorts or drugs or alcohol, or there's various different ways that the men try and cope with the struggle of the feeling. So how did you try and handle this?
So mine was straightforward, really. So I'd work during the day, I'd go home, very chaos, all the time busy. The kids had got to bed, and I'd sit and do more work and have a bottle of wine. So mine was alcohol, I guess, really, And, I'd have another glass of wine and go. I'd want to work more, not spending any time with anyone else, and another glass of wine and work a little bit more. And, 11 o'clock became 12 o'clock, and then 12 o'clock became 12:30, then bedtime, then you're up again in the morning, straight to work. And, the cycle was it was like that for years.
Wow.
And I used to pride myself on doing like work like Wednesday and work like Thursday, and it was bonkers.
So easy to do though, right? It's so easy to fall into that trap thinking that, the harder we work, the more of a man we are. Yeah. So it's easy to then take the pride in it and think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But, it's when you realize it's coming at the cost of so many things, you start to think, is this really the best way?
Yeah.
So what kind of toll did this take on your marriage then? Because what I'm hearing you say is you'd get home from work, you'd be impatient, you wouldn't spend time with the kids because the stresses of the day. You then work in the evening, having a glass of wine, a bottle of wine. You go to bed at 11, 12, 1. I'm guessing that your wife went to bed before you. And then you got up early and you were gone again. So what kind of toll did this take on the marriage?
Yeah, I mean, it was like that for a number of years. So she pretty much became used to doing things on her own, I guess. Like, she'd always do stuff with the kids. We argued all the time. There was a lot of arguing went on. But luckily we're quite close. I mean, you know us both well enough to understand that she's stuck with me to the shit. And, I've worked and I've done some crazy things over the time where I've just not been interested and not taken the kids to school and not done stuff with kids. And my wife's like just full on with the kids. The kids come first. She's an amazing person. The kids just are everything for her. And I could never see that because I thought, like you were saying before, provide more money, get more things, become more happier. And obviously that's not the case, So it took a massive toll on us to the extent where, we just didn't really do stuff together with the kids. We were always doing things at weekends, but when it comes to during the week, she'd always do the school stuff and go to the school plays. And
Did you come close to getting a divorce or talking about it?
I wouldn't say we've come close to getting a divorce. It was never really spoken about in that way. But Rach a number of times said, "Listen, like something needs to change. You got to change. You got to change. You got to change." So she gave me the warning signals to say that I need to change the way that I was working, the way that I was doing. And I was sort of blaming it on work all the time. That was my excuse. I've got to work harder. I'm stressed. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. So that was what I kept going back to.
So what was the turning point then? She's giving you these warning signs. What was the point at which you actually stood up and was like, do you know what? Holy shit, I've got to change. Because so often I speak with men that ignore those warning signs and think that, she doesn't mean it, or she doesn't get it. She doesn't know how hard I work, and I'm doing this for us. And, when we have that big house, she'll change her mind then. When we have the nice holiday, she'll get it then. So what was the turning point for you?
Yeah, it's interesting that. So I did all that. We had the nice holiday, we had the nice car, we did all that sort of stuff, and she never got it. So the turning
did you
point,
tell yourself that she would as well? Would she?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You do that. It's so easy though, right?
Definitely. I did all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it should be okay. We'll get this and it should be okay. Yeah, I did all that. Turning point was, do you know what? I think the turning point was probably, realistically, we probably both had enough, but we hadn't sort of said it. And I just thought, something's got to change. So I started to look for something and to, like I say, just to help. And it was just a case of enough's enough. I can't do that anymore. I wasn't getting the pleasure from work either that I used to. So I started looking, and Facebook, maybe you guys, probably an advert or something. I don't know.
Yeah, good old Facebook.
Yeah. I don't even look on Facebook anymore. I've not even got it on my phone. So
yeah, that's a good way to live. Okay, so let's dive into where you are now then. And then we can dissect for the guys, what are the shifts you've had to make. So tell us a bit about what's different now. How is life different? Business, marriage, health, kids?
Well. So we haven't at home. We haven't had a row for 3 months.
Holy shit! Wow.
Maybe a little bit of disagreement, but nothing like it used to be at all.
Rick, sorry to interrupt. Rick said something last week when I was speaking with him. He was like, how Chelsea and I argue now, it's just different. I mean, we have disagreements, but instead of it being an argument, what happens is it's quite funny because I'll express, this is what I'm unhappy with, and this is how I'm feeling, and this is what I realize, and she'll do the same. It's this real calm, conversation instead of this screaming match where one of them ends up walking out of the room, then it's cold silence for 2-3 hours. Is that kind of what you're trying to say? Or?
Yeah, absolutely correct. It's crazy how uncanny that is. Yeah, and when it does get to that stage, I sort of get, don't use your calming bullshit on me. That's what she says now.
Don't use your what?
Calming bullshit on me.
She just wants you to flip. She just wants an argument. Don't use your calming bullshit on me.
So funny. It's great. But
that's great.
But no, it's good because I think things are totally different in that sense. Spend more time with the kids, more present. I think, do you know what? I think the realization in what I was like, to be more calming in 80% of situations is phenomenal compared to what I used to be. And just realization that, do you know what? I mean, the simple fact of the matter is this, okay? I have a business. We're making money. I have an amazing wife. I have 3 healthy kids. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's wealthy. And I just wasn't happy. For what reason? There was no reason not to be happy.
Yeah, I can remember when that penny dropped for you, and I think day 1 of the Alpha Reset, you were pissed off.
I was, wasn't I?
You were pissed off. You just wanted to leave there and then so you could go back home and kind of make amends. Little did you know what was waiting for you on day 2 and 3. But you were pissed when she realised, holy shit, what, the prices people are paying and where you're not stepping to the line. Because again, like I said at the beginning, so often and so easily the men will say, well, the problem is the business. We just need this member of staff or this system or whatever. And then it'll say, well, the problem's the staff. They just don't listen to me. They don't do what I say. Or the problem is my wife. She just doesn't get how hard I work. And if she just made my life easier, then I'd have less stress and we'd get on better. Whatever. But then the real power is when you realize the part you're playing like you did, and you're able to take ownership and then do something with it. And it sounds a lot easier and simpler than, it kind of does it a bit of injustice, really, the process. But in essence, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Why not be happy? Why not? There's so many men that I speak with and I ask them, well, what do you want? And there's just silence. And these are guys that have, they drive the Porsches and have the businesses and the homes and the holidays, the money, the watches, the season tickets and all the rest of it. And then when you say, well, what do you want? It's kind of like, and I understand why, but it's almost like a shame and an embarrassment around not knowing what to say, because they had everything they thought they needed in order to live a particular life, and it's not worked. And I think they're starting to realize, I think it's a lot easier and closer than I realize. So awesome. So that's changed with Rich. How else has the relationship changed? So less arguments, more calming bullshit. Anything else?
I think everything's just better as a whole, Tim. And we just for me, I mean, what it was like. You sort of within an hour of us meeting on the night before the first day of the Alpha Reset, you looked me in the eye and you said, when you talk about your kids, you get emotional, right? Didn't you? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was all about the kids, because I knew that if we could work together as a team to give the kids more, it would automatically fall in place for me and Rach, and that's exactly what it's done. So it was more about making the kids happy, which I knew for a fact would make us both happier, and that's what we did. And that, I mean, we've got date days planned till the end of the year. I mean, with both. So we've got me and Rach, we've got date days planned till the end of the year, and then after a conversation with you yesterday, I've planned date days with the kids. So, but me and Rachel have the date days planned to the end of the year about a month ago. Now, I would never have done that.
Wow.
So everything's completely changed in that sense. But it's funny because the same things I'm doing at home, I'm doing at work with customers and with staff as well. So I'm just doing the same things on different levels, and it just works.
So what does that look like now, the difference in how you're operating the business?
It's massively different. So the structure is ridiculous. The structure that we've put in place just in the last 3 months is ridiculous. Each member of my team's got 30, 60, 90-day goals. We have 3 goals a week that they have to work to and achieve. We have much more structured sales targets in place. We're online for upping turnover and reducing outgoings. So, but this is all, I used to get up in the morning, come to work, and we'd go again. And there was never any massive amounts of structure in my day. My calendar's blocked out for weeks in advance, not just with appointments, but with time that I take myself out and do certain things, spend some time on me. I have a Friday. So today, Fridays are my relationship day. So I literally just try and speak to every member of staff, just having a chat with him, connect with him.
Wow.
So
it's almost like your company's turned into this personal development company that just does flooring.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it's true, because when the business owner starts to realize the power of their own growth and structure and everything, leadership style changes, it filters down through the organization. Yeah. And the more you lift the people up, obviously the more profitable and productive and efficient the business is. And Rick was saying last week, a year ago, he was working 7 days a week. He's now taken 5 weeks off in the past 8.
Yeah.
And the business is growing without him because he's given his team more space and more trust, got a better relationship with them.
Yeah.
So they're making decisions faster. They're more invested in the business. So it's performing better without him needing to be there. Whereas 12 months ago, he was going into the office in the morning, delivering this real hypey sales meeting to get everyone going.
Yep.
And then going into his office and sitting there for 3 hours, staring at the screen like, what the fuck do I do?
Yep.
And it sounds to me like you're experiencing something similar.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It sort of sometimes takes a conversation like this to realise that, because that is exactly what's happened. And now I don't even realise that I've done it, because I was the same. I was running around like a fool all day long. And I think it was either a conversation with you or with Arthur. And it was like, Mike, you've got all these staff and you're still running around like a fool all day. Just, believe in them. Let them do it. They can do it. Believe in them. Take some time out. And I think in August, I went away on a 2-week holiday. I was back for 3 days. And then I came away on an Alpha Reset it was a week for what it was, wasn't it? It was Sunday through Friday. So I was away for like 3 weeks of the month. And it was great. I mean, everything was going ahead. But yeah, my whole diary now is structured around what I want to do. My office have got certain times that they can put things in, but the rest of it's structured around what I want to do. And it's set out to build a business in the right way, at the right pace.
Wow, that's great. And how are things different now? Or what are things like now when you get home on an evening and you walk through the door? Very different.
I mean, it's not perfect. We've still got work to do. We're still working on our meal plans to make sure that's right. But listen, I've got 3 kids. My eldest daughter's a little bit older than the other 2. But we're still doing. The only night we have off any sort of kids' activities is a Wednesday. So Wednesdays are like, okay, we can relax. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it's full on with football, dance, school activities, all that sort of stuff. So it's busy. But we're working on planning different routines and things. And the main thing is 80% of the time it's calm and relatively relaxed. We have the same stresses as anybody else does with 2 young kids. But it's a lot more of a relaxed atmosphere and family place. The kids don't see the mum and dad screaming anymore.
Wow, that's huge. It is. That's huge. So what are the shifts you've had to make then? So we've got kind of 2 sides to the story here, don't we? We had Mike 8-9 months ago, who was this crazy workaholic, prided himself on, working till 1 a.m. with a bottle of wine, up before the kids, out the door, came home, distant, disconnected, arguing with his wife, not looking after himself, stressed out. That version. And now this guy who has his date in the days mapped out for the remainder of the year, is prioritizing his own growth and development, is totally there for the kids and his wife. Business is growing a lot easier and a lot better as well. So looking at that, Mike, if you could just say to him, hey, look, come join me on this path. Here's what you need to do. What would you say to him?
Work on yourself more than anyone else. For me, it's been mentally more than physically, if you like. Or that's what I've focused on. So morning routines, evening routines, just structure, simple stuff. Meditation's been huge for me. Gratitude practice. The alarms on my phone every day go off 4 or 5 times through the day just to remind me of things. So that constant gratitude has been huge. But just decompression before I leave work, getting up in the morning, having breakfast with the kids, being up so I'm not rushing around, and choosing to do what I want, really. Just allowing myself to, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect 7 days a week. It will be, but it's not just yet. But, just allow myself to get up and think, well, do you know what? I've not got to rush to the office for 7:30. I can spend an extra half an hour, 40 minutes here, helping with the kids, have some breakfast together, and then go. Because really, it's just going to be the same. But yeah, daily routines has been huge for me. Meditation, gratitude practice, and just the realization that I can do what I want.
And do you know what? I think that's key because so often, without having that in place, so how do I say this? So often, the men that come into the program have put so many rules and barriers between them and what they actually want. And they say, okay, well, they think that, and I get why they do it, but it's like, okay, well, once I've achieved this, then I'm allowed that.
Yep.
But the trouble is, that goal, the goalpost just moves.
Yep.
It moves and moves. And with it, what they actually want moves and moves and moves and moves. So they're constantly in this kind of race, trying to win their own joy, never really getting it. And it just builds this kind of cycle of burnout and resentment and sabotage, if you will. Because obviously with the burnout and the resentment, you want to drink more or whatever it is. Whereas, like you're saying, when you're able to say, do you know what? Here, get clear on what you actually want, have it, schedule it, and do it Fridays, like you say. You got that, and those are the days where you have those blocks to do what you want. It fills your cup and you feel fantastic, don't you?
Yeah.
Then means that not only do you have the energy, you also have the hunger to then go into the business and you want to do things because outside of it, well, it's not taking up all your life because outside of it, you feel even better than you do in it. So it's almost like it goes from your business is your life to then being your business serves your life. And your life is that, with your wife and your kids and your health, because you've been losing weight as well.
Yeah.
Your health, that's the important thing. And business is secondary. But I think if I was to explain this to the Mike of 8 months ago, what do you think he would have said? I've got an idea, but what do you think he would have said, the Mike of 8 months ago, if I would have said, hey, Mike, focus on what you want and your family, your kids, and your health. And business will take care of itself. Business will grow faster and easier. What do you think he would have said?
I want to believe you. I'd have said no chance.
Yeah,
no way. No way.
It's though as well, isn't it? Because you don't believe it. So you're like, holy shit, no. I've got to be in the business and drive it. It needs me. Otherwise, it's all going to fall apart.
And it's so true. And do you know what? You also hit something on the head, which I'd never really thought about until you said it a while ago. So I'd been through the activation method, which was amazing. But then on that day one of the Alpha Reset, that's when it just went, wow. And it was just, so that process of going through the activation method to get to that stage at that time, it's just like perfect timing for me. And that's when it kicked in because I wouldn't have believed, I don't want to swear, but I'd have probably told you, you got no chance. Yeah.
I know you like to swear, Mike, so let's not kill your personality. I love it. How was it for you having, been surrounded by other businessmen in a similar position? Was that helpful? Because business coaching, a lot of the men have tried therapy or marriage counseling or business coaching. It's just not quite worked for them. I think there's a few reasons for that, but one of them is, I think the reason why the activation method and the Alpha Reset works so well is because it's specifically a group of businessmen that have very similar problems, that are all action takers, all achievers, and they're all committed to a similar mission as well. Was that helpful for you to be in that kind of environment?
I said the other day on my video that I made, and I thought it was quite apt that it's like I've got a group of blokes that are all my business partners, but they're not going to screw me over. And that is so true because the amount of conversations I've had with all the guys over the last 6 months, 7 months is the exact conversation. You have a conversation with a guy on the phone that you wouldn't have with anybody else. You wouldn't have some of the conversations I've had with the group, the guys in the Powerful Mind. You wouldn't have those conversations with anybody else, but they're exactly the same. They're going through the same, or they've been through the same, and it's just unbelievable. So that, for me, that was a massive, massive part of the whole thing, because we've all got the same problems. We've all got the same challenges.
Yeah, we do. And,
different levels.
Yeah, and I think, when you're on your own in Manchester, the head of your business, the head of your family, trying to bear this burden on your own, it's very easy to become quite isolated.
Yeah.
Thinking that, you're the only one with these problems, not just in business, but the shame that goes with letting your kids down and your wife and the guilt that then builds, and then the habits around drinking and other things that guys get into. It gets into this cycle of shame and sabotage. And it's so easy to feel so alone at that point. And because of the guilt and the shame, you then sometimes don't want to open up because people around you just often, the men tell me, the people around them just don't get it. So to be in an environment where everything's been aired and opened, the men tell me that it just lifts this burden from them. They realize they're not alone, and immediately it shifts things.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for me, going forward with what you guys are doing, that's such an important part. You know that you can ask a business question, you can ask a relationship question, you can ask a sex question, you can ask a kid question, and someone's going to give you the answer within 5 minutes. And it's really important, whether it's a really high level question about business or simple things about how to, anyone got any good kid date ideas to take your son who's 14? They'd have the answer for you, the group of guys, wouldn't they? They would. Yeah,
they do. It's great. And one of the things I love is one of the guys recently, because it's very easy to post all the rosy side, right? But one of the guys a few months ago, he used to struggle with porn and hookup sites and escorts and so on. And this was in the Brotherhood. And he put a post saying, guys, I'm having a bad day. I feel like I'm going to have a relapse. I feel like I'm going to go on a hookup site and I don't want to. And straight away there was I can't remember how many. Whoosh, all the guys straight there, messaging him, ringing him, no judgment, just almost kind of talking him off the ledge. He's got a wife and kids, runs a business. He don't want to be doing that.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't want to be judged because, maybe he's just having a bad day for whatever reason. It was phenomenal to see. It was great. So is there anything you want to share with anyone that might be watching this who maybe like you, stand on the sidelines, struggling?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's probably hundreds, thousands, millions of blokes sat on the sidelines, Tim. There really, really is. But I think once you've felt the pain of not being happy, whether it's not being happy in business or not being happy with your home life, then have that call with you, because that was the starting point for me. The call with you. What do you call those calls?
Breakthrough calls.
Breakthrough calls. So have that call, because there's no reason to not be happy. There's just no reason to not be happy. There really is. If you've got a business or a job and you've got a wife or you've got kids or you've not got kids, there's just no reason to not be happy. It's just a case of having the call, understanding why, doing loads of work on yourself, and getting yourself set or reset, if you like, and living a fuck yes life. Because that's what we're doing. So there's just make the step, take the jump, call, get on the activation method, go through the alpha reset, and it's like a different life on the other side.
I don't get
paid for this.
What's that?
Do I get paid for this?
I get paid for this. You can do. I think people struggle to believe, when we say it's like a different life. All the guys come onto this and they're like, shit, it's like I was seen in black and white. The glasses got taken off and it was full HD colour. I think it can sound so big and grand, as though we've told you to say something when we haven't. But it is. It's a different life.
It is genuinely, having that realisation, and that's the only word I can use. I don't know if that hits home with people, but the realisation of the different person you can become before joining that activation method to the person you can become after it is like a million miles away. It's crazy. It's crazy. Good crazy, though.
Yeah, it is. It's not like you've grown an extra arm or an extra leg or an extra head or same guy.
Not yet.
You're the same guy you was 8 months ago who saw things very differently and operated in a very different way.
But like I said before, the most exciting thing for me is that I know that I've got so much more to give and so much more to change, and so I can make everything that I've done better and better and better. And where's that going to take me?
It's a beautiful place. It really is. Well, brother, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your time and whatnot with us. I can remember that first call. There was so much skepticism. And now look at you. We sat here and we're having this conversation. It's brilliant. It really is. It's fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
I love you, my friend. And I'll stop this and I'll give you a shout. So, guys, if you want to find out more, then head over to thealphareset.com and you're able to go ahead and book a breakthrough call there, which will be with me as well. Hey, 20 minutes. You'll see the video on there. Tells you everything about what to do next. So that's thealphareset.com. Mike, thank you, my friend.
Thanks,
and, I shall speak to you soon.